Welcome to Sith Talk, brought to you by Gadakara and Lanyard, bringing you news from Star Wars The Old Republic and beyond. Join us now as we explore the universe and take down the Republic in a galaxy not so far away. Hey everybody, it's another week of tour with your buddies here at Sith Talk, me, Dedekar, and of course Lanyard.
Hello!
We postponed the show a day or so that we could be right on top of the patch note days. I figured it might be a little easier for Lanyard not to have to be up in the middle of the night, maybe to get it done after work. We'll see how that works out. This is my off day, so of course I'm well rested and have had plenty of time to check out the PTS and endure the rather large download since I forgot to do it when I reinstalled the game. So yippee skippies, hippie dippies, trippies, fippies, flubba flubba fibbies for me. So this week, of course, they put the Cartel Market on the PTS along with the Section X, which I got a little bit of time to play in before the game consistently crashed, and I was having trouble. I'm trying to remember how to transfer over my preset UI to the PTS, since apparently they don't save anything on the PTS. They just wipe it clean and make you watch all the intro videos again, which kind of sucked. We also have to announce at some point today the winner of the 30-day or the 60-day time card, which I'll be procuring when I get paid tomorrow at midnight. So I'll be messaging our winner on that Thursday morning, and if that person doesn't take it, then I'll default it to the next one down the line. I want to make sure we start off things as we usually do with our core sponsor, if you want to call them that, since we don't see a lot of payout, but they are a core sponsor nonetheless, and it is our right and need to put them into the show at the beginning. I want to make sure we throw out audibletrial.com/Sith Talk. Get free 30 days of the Audible program, free book. Let you check it out. Enjoy some of the great sales. Myself, I've still been re-listening to a few sections of the Zombie Fallout series. Definitely a good series. I liked almost all 5 books. They have a 3.5, but I don't suggest anyone buy that unless you want some extra backstory that's not necessarily relevant. Hell, if you wanted to, listen to 3.5 before you listen to the whole damn series. That way shit kind of actually falls into its rights in chronology in as far as the books are concerned. Of course, the other thing is, the book series in and of itself is pretty cool. The one thing that threw me off was I've never read or listened to a book where the author actually plugs one of his other books in it. In book 5, they're going through and checking out one of the bedrooms. A guy's looking for painkillers, and they actually find a book by Mark Tufo, Indian Country or Indian County, which I thought was hilarious because here's the guy, Mark Tufo's book Zombie Fallout, that I'm listening to, plugging his own book that I'm thinking about listening to.
I had an audio book that the guy traveling through the Arctic or whatever found this guy living in this hut, kind of a hobo or whatever, right? And it was the author of the book, so he put himself in the book. Moment. Yeah, it was kind of funny.
Oh man, but really great books, really great prices. I got most of the Zombie Fallout books the other day through one of the sales they were having. As I fix my screen, there we go. That should auto fix. Let me turn off the auto zoom function. Fucking piece of shit. There we go. But lots of really good books. I mean, when I got the Zombie Fallout series, I fell in love with books 1 and 2. They ran a sale on Audible. I got all of them, I think it was the remainder of the series, so like 4 additional books for somewhere around, I think, $30. And since they're normally about $25 to $30 a piece, it's a great savings. And of course, I get email updates as you can if you sign up for the full service. And if you do decide to go for the $15 a month service or the $25 a month service, it throws a few shekels back into our till, which is consistently running on near anemic. Not that that's a bad thing. It's a fan cast, not a pay cast, so we're good to go. And just a little forewarning, for those who are just getting into the series, well, I'm probably either going to have to remove and then send the original episodes, I think the first 10 or 15 episodes, through email, if you're interested in those, just so that we can continue to have the space on our page to list the new pages as we get closer to our 5 gigabyte storage maximum on Podomatic. Now, if you guys would like to, we do welcome donations. I don't always plug it, but I have to. I'm making a point to do it now as we're getting enough episodes in to eat up all of our storage space. If you'd like to throw us a donation, there's a donate button on our Podomatic front page. If everybody who downloaded, gave us $1, just a single shekel. If everyone who downloaded it, we'd actually have enough to pay for the premium service, get us quite a bit more storage, quite a bit more bandwidth, and of course pay for it for the better portion of leading up to our annual renewal.
We can always put. You'll always find. We've got plenty of room on YouTube as well. So if you don't find it on Podomatic, or I guess that goes through to iTunes as well, you'll always find the same episodes on YouTube. So there's that.
And Kevin has been has always been working for us in the background, so he's talking to a few people that he knows through YouTube about getting us an affiliate program with YouTube, so that we can work on some better video production and possibly have a means to properly live stream if we choose to do that in the future as well. Kevin, occasionally we get the question of where's he at. Well, Kev's looking forward to free to play, which is a big part of our news this week, and he's looking forward to that because he wants to see what he gets with cartel coins. Can't really, like some other people, doesn't have the ability to afford to continually play the game, but also he's always in the background working for us, trying to promote our podcast through the networks that he has. So it's always cool to know that he's still fighting for the podcast, just like you guys are. And we want to make sure and thank the people who gave us likes on Facebook, but we'd like to thank the people who stayed liking us on Facebook most of all.
Yes.
A lot of us, a lot of the time, we've been going for about 9 months now, where we're going, come on guys, just 100 likes on Facebook, we'll give away this time card. Yep. We're like, all right, I'm never gonna have to spend $30.
Yay!
And then we got the shout out from SWTOR Strategies, which was awesome. But then we shot up to like 200. And what'd you say? 216.
218 is the top. Yeah.
Right, 218, and then it started dwindling off as people are like, oh, they already hit 100. Okay, well we'll pull our likes off. Well, I mean, and I only really want people to like our page if they do like it.
Yeah.
It's cool that we got so many people liking our page, but it would be cooler it's cooler if those people actually get on there and go, hey, we do like you, and you can do, everybody's welcome to share information that they find through other pages. They're able to share things, and we'll like them or go through them. We share them via tweets. I know a lot of my posts come through as tweets, so if you want to follow me at Datacar on Twitter, or at, Nightcutter, Lanyard Nightcutter, or at Mayojar.
No, at Lanyard73.
At Lanyard73 is our buddy here, Lanyard. We did have a few posts on YouTube, of course, our traditional drop-ins that are, thank you for the podcast, great job. I know that Safara said that he'd been playing with his main guild, but would be trying to log on to our server more often, which is definitely cool. I like to see everybody that is in our guild pop in from time to time. Would like to see the guild grow a little bit more, but whatever. Not a big deal. I know me and Lanyard haven't had a truly extensive week this week for our own reasons, but we have been playing. I told Lanyard I felt kind of guilty at first because I had only gotten about 15 hours in this week, and then I managed to squirrel away another 15 in the last 2 days between the PTS and the main server. So, Lanyard, as we normally do, let's go ahead and start with you.
Well, I finally got Zuzu up to 50.
Do it 4?
So that'd be my fourth. That's my fourth 50, and my final until the Cathar come out. I really, I am sick of leveling. I've I've spent way too much time on Belsavis, way too much time on Tatooine, way too much time on Alderaan. I'm done doing that. So I've got just the one trooper. So the Cathar will end up becoming, depending on how they do it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be both sides, because I think you had mentioned before, I was sitting there just saying, well, they can't be on Imperial side because the imps are trying to kill them. But then I found a quest line that we went and saved like one of their kings, so
Yeah.
on Voss. So I can see where it would be on both sides. But anyway, yes, me too. Waiting for the train to come back. Hold on.
Choo choo.
Yeah. So I have the one trooper.
Mm-hmm.
50.
You have the trooper, the marauder, the bounty hunter, and now your Sork.
And my Sork, yes. Thank you. Glad you know more about it than I do. And,
Yours are your alts are easier to name off. You don't have over 10.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, so I got the one on the Imperial side, or one on the Republic side, and 3 on the Imperial side. So I'm glad I got Zuzu to 50. I'm having a blast. I love the Sork. I used to like her a lot in PvP, but they fucked PvP, so I don't do that anymore. But I love, and I ran all the way up the electrocution lightning tree, with a little bit in whatever the far right one is. I can't remember the name. But it's a little bit here for like boosting this and that.
Yeah.
Because everything in the lightning tree I don't use. It's like, man, I don't even use that, so why put points there? Anyways, went in, got her going, got her to 50 on Monday morning. I was at 49 and like 3/4 Sunday night, and I just I couldn't stay awake. So I got up the next morning, and like the first 2 quests I turned in, 50. All right, cool. And then I've done Battle for Ilum. I've done False Emperor. I've done Black Talon hard mode. I've done I did False Island, Lost Island. Story mode, which actually was a lot of fun, because I know that we've tried it on hard mode and we could never get through it. I know you have, but I have not. And so we got past the first big guy, got to the robot, and I was like, well, this is as far as I know. This is it. And the funny thing was, everybody else in there is like, yeah, I've seen this guy. That's it. I've never gotten past here. So once we got past the robot, it was all fresh to everybody. So that was fun, because when we wiped, it was because we had fucking no clue what we were doing. It was like, it was cool. Nobody bitched about it, you know. And so we got through that, which yeah. And then we did. I got into a group, this other group and I can't remember the name of it. I think it was Directive 7. And the tank kept, as soon as the people would pop in, the tank would vote kick them out. Cough or something, snap, do something, make some noise.
Blah blah blah.
Thank you. It's doing that noise again.
Weird background thing.
So I went into Directive 7, and he kept booting people. I was like, what's that all about? You know, I really like to get this done, and if you keep just throwing people out, what the fuck? Oh, we're just trying to get a guildie in. I was like, you know, you realize you could have just got 3 of you guys together and got into the queue. I mean, why are you pissing a bunch of people off? 'Cause it's fun. This guy was, okay. So anyway, so then we go through a couple of the first mobs, and he didn't tank that bad. But then we decided, you know how I don't like skipping shit. And I don't mind skipping a few things if we need to or whatever. That's, you know, because I don't want to go out of our way to kill shit. But, you know, but this guy was going out of his way to go around, like, the entire fucking instance. And I going up these rocks where you have to jump in the right position, and it took like 5-10 minutes to get up this fucking rock, and I ended up getting stuck. Of course, I get.
Oh, dude! I know
stuck.
what you're talking about. You're talking about the. Yeah, that was Directive 7. You go across the bridge,
and then you jump
and there's supposed to be a shortcut where you can go into the river, but you can get hung on the rock really bad.
Right, and that's where I got hung up. And I said, well, great. Now I said, great guys. Now we spent the last 5 minutes fucking around in here. We haven't killed anything, and now I'm stuck. So then he initiates a kick to kick me, right? And of course, it shows you that you're being kicked. And I said, and I looked at his reason. His reason was stupid got stuck, only 13k health. You know, I was like, hey, don't worry about it. I typed back before it booted me out. I quit guild, so it would already. Anyways, or not quit guild, quit group, and I started taking down. So I typed in there, said, don't worry about it. I put you on ignore because I want to fucking run with you again. And the asshole's name, it was a chick tune, but I know it was a jackass, was Paper Moon. It was a fucking moron. Anyways, so I went ahead and got out of that, and I was pissed, and of course then I had to wait. So then the very next one I got into was Kaon Under Siege, and it was hard mode, which I didn't realize at first. And we were going through doing okay until we got to that part where everybody always jumps up on the wall and just skips it.
Yeah.
And they fixed it. I mean, they really fixed it now. You cannot, I mean, it's basically an invisible box around the fucking thing. You cannot get up on
at the
anything.
very edge of it.
Yeah, you cannot get on anything. And I'm like, well, that sucks because nobody had done it the right way.
Oh God.
Yeah. Well, I'll get on the gun. So the tank gets on the gun, and he's like, okay, what am I supposed to do? I said, just kill the ghouls. You
turn.
know? Yeah, turn and point. I mean, that's all you gotta do. And of course, you're getting mobs from both sides. And I decided to stand way back and just drop my lightning on their heads. That didn't work. We wiped. We come all the way back, and okay, let's try this again. The tank jumps on the fucking cannon again, starts shooting shit. I stand right on the cannon, and then shoot my lightning that way, just over our heads. That didn't work because apparently they have the two big guys that come in and the mercenaries that you can't really see because it's just a mob and it's really dark. So you don't see the mercenary until he's got you wrapped up and he goes zap, 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 and you're dead.
Yeah.
Like three hits, and you can't fucking defend against it or nothing. You just have to kill him before he zaps you, and then that didn't work. And then of course the big guys come in and go, oh, I'm gonna die, boom, wipes the whole group. I'm like, the fuck? This is impossible. This is like, so we're on our quite literally our 10th fucking attempt at this.
Oh my God.
No, I am not joking. I mean, the group
Jesus
stayed. The
Christ.
group. Well, no, I take it back. The healer quit after the 3rd time.
Right.
Then we had a DPS quit after the 4th time, and then it was just me and the tank, which by the way was our 2nd tank, because we went through and wiped on something, and the tank said "fuck it" after the very first wipe. I was like, "Oh, okay, whatever, get out of here." So we're. I'm the only one that stayed in this whole fucking group, right? So we've got all new people. This is our 5th wipe. And then we wiped on this another time because one of the big guys got in and we couldn't fucking get him out, and he blew up and wiped us all. And because what's fucked up is those big guys when they explode.
The bloated.
Yeah, the bloateds. Yeah. When they blow up on hard mode, it's a fucking insta kill. At least it was with us. At least it was with us because we weren't all ricottaed out. I mean, we were just in.
If you're not overly geared, I mean, it'll hit the group for about 5-6K worth of damage.
And it wiped us completely. Fucking wiped us out. So and then the fucked up thing was, this is like our 3rd wipe after our 2nd group. The healer goes, I don't want to fucking wipe again, so let's do this. I'm sitting here, and the tank whispers to me, goes, she apparently hasn't been here from the beginning. Because this is our 10th fucking try on this. Because nobody had done it,
Yeah.
And so... and we tried all sorts of ways. I mean, I ran over and I got on site. You know how you go around and there's that spaceship that's kind of kilter?
Yeah.
Before you go around the corner? I jumped up on top of that and said, okay, go ahead and start it, guys. That didn't work. The bloated guy jumped out of the spaceship and blew me up. We tried all sorts of ways to fucking avoid it. Finally, on our last nerve, we fucking got it, right? It's like, all right. And then we moved on to the next fucking thing. And which we did. I guess it was a bonus boss. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. Was that?
Yeah, there's a bonus boss. You'll go up a set of stairs, and he's off back to the back right before you head to the last 2 fights.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple of mob fights this way, and it's the last boss all the way down the road.
Yeah.
But if you cut right, there's a bonus boss back there.
I think that's what we went after, or we didn't. We accidentally went after, or something. But anyways, there was like, we never got. We got past that, and then and then oh no, it was the dude that turns into a God. I'm getting my things mixed up. That was fucking. Anyway, so it was a mess. So I just finally after my personally my 12th or 15th wipe, I just said, okay guys, you know what, I can't. I said, I have been sticking in it longer than all of you guys. I'm done. I cannot do this anymore. I really wanted to finish it, and then I got out. And that's when I realized it was hard mode. At first, I was sitting there thinking, we can't even get through fucking story mode? This is pathetic. But that's when I realized, I was like, well, okay, that's a little bit better. But
Yeah.
I was just happy to get through Lost Island. I've never seen all the way through Lost Island. I know, fuck, I've been doing this now for how long, but I have not yet seen all the way through Lost Island. And I was pretty stoked to get through it. I was pretty, the very last guy was kind of a bitch. But we got him.
Well, it's like a four-phase fight with sucks balls.
Doctor, whatever his name is. The guy that turns into a...
I don't know. I always call him
Rat
Dr. Kevorkian.
Right, Dr. Ratghoul. But yeah, and then so that was good. And of course, I've done all my dailies on Ilum. I did all my dailies on Black Hole, and I went and turned in the quest at Belsavis to start my shit on Belsavis and said I'm out of here. Because I fucking hate Belsavis. I mean, I don't have an entire day to quite literally do a daily at Belsavis. But you know, I ended up getting a Black Hole earpiece because she's had 25 black holes since 12 because they just give that shit away. And then so she finally used those. I got a Black Hole earpiece. I ended up picking up. We did Black Talon, and this pissed me off. In Black Talon, they skipped every fucking boss. They went and got the very first guy you got to go through the door with, right? They got him. And then they skipped everything else. The fire guy, the fish face dude, pretty much all the fucking elites. I'm like, are we seriously just gonna skip everything in here? And the guy's like, yeah. It's like, it's a waste of our time. I was like, then why the fuck are you even in here? Well, to get our dailies. I'm like, you could get 5 dailies doing dailies faster than skipping everything in here. Anyways, I hate those motherfuckers. Javeth, I know you're not listening to today's show, but if you happen to come back and you're listening to today's show, and I know you probably don't do it, but if you can get a hold of the Flashpoint people, can you just make a fucking straight and narrow path straight through all the mobs? Because I fucking hate skipping shit.
The other way to avoid that is to increase the aggro radius.
I started pulling stuff.
Yeah.
We'd skip shit, and I'm like, oh, I want to do this boss. They're like, we don't have to do that, boss. There's nothing that drops off you. I don't fucking care. I start pulling shit. I'm surprised they didn't kick me, but it was just, come on, guys, this is fucking retarded. I mean, we're skipping everything in here. This is, why are you here? But I ended up getting a Kalumi bracers. And then I've gotten a couple Exotech, level 51 shit. I think a chest piece and some boots or something. But I've gotten stuff, and then of course I had somewhere along the line I picked up some what the fuck are they called? Implants. I think probably Lanyard.
Breast implants.
Yeah, I got some bigger boobies. That's what she needs. She doesn't need it. She's already got some majangas. Anyways, so yeah, but then I of course I ran a couple of these things. I was like, oh fuck, I forgot. I've got PvP gear that I could be wearing, So I went and got that shit and boosted a little bit of this and that. But and even since we were doing Black Talon and I was pulling bosses because they weren't doing them, I ended up getting some nice gear for Kim Vol. So because they didn't want it, they're like, we don't want this shit. I'm like, cool, I'll take it. Give it to my companion. So yeah, so I got some good. So yeah, that's it. I did that all on Sunday, Monday. So I went from 46 to 50 and got all that shit in 2 days. So that's not too bad. And that's it. That's it. Your turn.
All right. Well, before I go into my week, 'cause I mean, it wasn't huge, but I did take care of a lot of stuff. Just a real quick spot. All right. As far as that turret fight goes that you were on in Kaon, okay. The way it's supposed to work, as I try to get my quotations in here.
Please tell me. Please tell me.
Okay, the way it's supposed to work is that the tank is supposed to focus down almost like whenever the trash is around, he's supposed to take out the groups first and then turn to help you guys with the actual mobs. Because the turret does enough damage to completely destroy all the zombies running in, but he turns around and he can help you guys out with the screamers, the mercs, the bloateds, and if a healer has the ability, they need to drop AoE right in the middle, and that takes care of all the most of the extensive damage from the bloateds.
We had a operative
Oh,
healer.
okay.
And apparently the only thing she had was...
Well, he has Koto bombs. I mean, they have the equivalent of a Koto bomb.
That's right.
It's not as good as, say, a puddle, but it does do periodic healing, and that's one of the things I've used. The other option is when the bloated gets to about 10%, you have one of them knock him back so that he blows up behind the field or in front of the field, and that way you never take that damage.
Yeah, that was the thing. That was what we were trying to do, was doing the knockbacks. I don't know what it is about my knockback, but for some reason my knockback, when it knocks him back, I have to turn around and face the fucker, figure out where to go, and then knock him back. But it knocks him straight along the floor. It doesn't actually lift him, which I don't understand, because on some of these instances or flashpoints where you knock people off the bridge, like that one where you gotta drop the shield, move over, twitch, and then drop the shield, and you knock the robots off the ledge. Every time I get up there and I run up, and I'll be right in front of him, 3 feet from the ledge, and I'll hit him, and he'll just go boom and stop right at the ledge. Whereas the Jug will come in, or the Bounty Hunter, or whoever else has a knockback, they knock them back, and they literally fly up and out. Where mine just hits them straight back along the floor. So I don't know if that's supposed to, because every time I do that, they catch up on the ledge. They just stop right there.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck it is, and everybody else comes in and goes, Jesus, couldn't you do this right? I'm like, I'm standing 2 feet from him. It doesn't work. And and so I'll get to those bloateds. And I was going to try to knock them back, but they'd catch something. They'd stop. And boom. The other thing was we were and I got to face the fucker. So that means I got to figure out where he's at, turn around and hit him. That's why I like the old fucking 360. Bloated, boom, and doesn't matter where he's at, he's gone. You know, and it would also clear the whole fucking mob. But now, thanks a lot for fucking that shit up. I've heard other people too bitch about it, like, oh, I love how the fact that this grenade is directional now. It's supposed to be, it's a grenade. Grenades go boom in a 360, but no, not in Star Wars. Only a straight narrow shot. Stupid. I
mean, but when I've done it in the past, and obviously Naga's way more geared than your Sork is at this point. So when I'm healing, it's normally I puddle. And I'll throw a couple of dot heals on the tank, and from then on, I can lightning all around, and I help take care of some of the damage. And I put myself in a position that I'm just far enough behind the tank that anything coming in front of us, and only a few of the mobs actually spawn behind behind where the turret is.
Yeah.
There's a merc that comes up and a bloated that come up from behind.
Yeah.
Outside of that, everything's
right or left.
Forward or right next to you.
Yeah.
So it's not real hard to worry about where you're going total, but it helps to have have the heals on it. And if the operatives or the healers that you had didn't have appropriate AoE or were under geared, they're not going to be able to make up for the deficiencies in the remainder of the group.
Yeah.
Because a great healer or a well geared healer that knows how to do his spells can keep everybody up even if they're under geared. Because I've been in plenty of under-geared groups, and I've been in plenty of over-geared groups, and it works out exactly the same. If you don't know the fight, you don't know the fight.
Yeah. Well, what I was doing with my AoE, and I think there was a bounty hunter in there that had the death from above. And what we would do is I would cover right, he would cover left, and we would just, you could hear him coming. So you'd get your AoEs out, and we just drop them. Now his knocks him down for a second, mine stuns him for a second, so that would slow him down enough to where the tank could go boom, 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 and then turn around and boom, 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 and we didn't get, that was when we finally figured it out,
Yeah.
And like you said, we didn't know about the guys that popped up from behind, so those guys came out, but we were able to I was able to see the Merc at first, stunned him, and then everybody just fucking destroyed him. I think even the tank came off and just beat the shit out of the fucking Merc, because it was the Mercs and the Bloateds that kept fucking us up.
Yeah.
So the Screamers were just
and
annoying.
And the DPS really, and I see it on a lot of runs, and in the overgeared groups, DPS like Marauders, and the short range damage classes, almost every time they'll try to jump into the groups, which is just retarded, because if everybody just stays right behind the tank, all the mobs come to you. It's not like I have to go chasing this guy down.
Right.
You know, there's no kiting. It's literally sit here and destroy shit. And if everybody stays as a well-packed group, even on things that are, group-based damage, where it's a splash damage, like from the Bloateds, there's a lot less of it going on because everybody's together, as opposed to like one person getting all the spew on them at once.
Yeah, I remember now where I finally gave up was where you went into the bar, and you know how you kind of sneak along the wall. See, I don't skip. I don't mind skipping some shit, because Kaon has way too many fucking mobs. But you go along the wall there, and then you got the Screamers and the Mercenaries and the Bloateds all over the fucking place. Somebody decided that, they see all three of us going along the wall. This fucker decides to try to stealth all the way in. Well, the Screamers see the stealthers, and the whole fucking bar I was like, okay, guys, I'm done.
Shit.
That's just, we're not going to do that. That's where we wiped out, was the bar.
Oof.
Yeah, I was like, fuck.
But now as far as this week goes, like I said, I didn't have a ton of time to play. I only got in about 25. I didn't quite make my normal 30 goal. Part of which was because the nephew wanted to play Modern Warfare 3, and I know this is the Star Wars podcast, but
we
I
play
play
other
a lot of
games
games
as well.
Yeah, I play a lot of games. It's the whole reason Kevin is supposed to be getting the three of us together for a secondary podcast about gaming in general. Whenever Kevin decides to start recording that, because that's his baby. I'm letting him deal with it as he wishes. But my nephew got back into Modern Warfare, so I was playing that on the PC and tearing it up. If you have any question as to what my Steam name is, look at the videos. Remember what I call myself at the beginning of every episode, Datacar. It's my online name. Yeah. It's on everything.
Mine's slowly switching over to Lanyard. So.
I was playing a lot of that, mainly because I'm getting close to prestige, making the decision as to whether or not when I hit 80 if I'm going to prestige or if I'm not going to. I don't know yet. But he got into that, so I spent about 20 hours playing Modern Warfare this week, and that's mind-numbing. But then, of course, right after the podcast last week, and as I was advertising the podcast at the beginning of the week, I'm playing, and I thought to myself, well, I'm going to go ahead and spend the money on try to get my get all my augments in, and I went and I did dailies on Nolani, and I did dailies on Nagajalokia, and I did them on Rakat. And at first I thought, well, let me go ahead and craft them myself, buying the pieces because I didn't have a max slicer anymore because I'd re-rolled the appropriate backup skills to my primary skill, crew skill, and that pretty much dropped out slicing on damn near every character, and that was frustrating because I couldn't get the purple items that were the high-end augments. Well, to add insult to injury, I thought, well, I'll just work my way up to the purples and I'll buy them off of the GTN. Well, I get all the way up to the blues, and I'm about to craft the purples, and I go on the GTN, and I'm going, okay, well, the advanced neural inhibitors are like, what is it, something like 36,000 a piece. Or, no, they were like 76,000 a piece per fucking piece. You need like 4 of them to make one augment, and I went, okay, well, I wonder how much the augments are. Oh, the augments are 65.
Cheaper.
So split the difference, and I'm paying less for the augment.
Yep.
So I had wasted 300,000 buying all these mats to get to where I needed to be to make the purples.
How long did you play WoW? It's the exact same thing that would happen in WoW.
And you'd think I'd learn, but but no, I don't. Apparently, luckily I still remember that I don't have to upgrade my augment slot to be able to accommodate the level 6.
That's helpful. That's helpful, isn't it? Sure, that'd save you a couple 100,000 credits.
But I spent about 300,000 trying to get it to where Nolani could make the purple augments for AIM. Then I get there and I'm going, wait a minute, it's only 65,000. I need 6 of them. Fuck it. So I go on Rakat and I buy all 6 of them. Then I realize I have to pay to put the slot in the shit that I forgot to put slots in. So I go on Naga and I get the 30,000 per slot. Now I'm down to like 150,000 on Noli. I've got 100,000 on Naga, and I've got just enough scratch left on Rakat from buying materials for the other two to get their augments made to do what? Buy the fucking slots. But nonetheless, now with his racial buffs through Legacy, I am well over 2,000 primary stat, even though I am not full campaign or full whatever geared.
Right.
And I have all I am seeing a drastic increase in his damage. I one-shot almost every mob on Ilum now. I crit almost every shot of Tracer. So it's, a lot more things dying a lot faster. It gets me through questing a little bit faster. I don't know how well I'll be looked at in a raid or an off group, if people will still look at me as Mr. Scrubby Gear, or if they'll go, oh, he's kind of scrubby geared, but he puts out enough damage to make it worthwhile. Yeah, whatever, fuck him. Other than that, I was working. I was trying to get into. Everybody knows I'm an alcoholic. I was trying to get into some healing positions on Zoe Harad and Hot Chocolate this week, and I will tell you the pickings are fucking slim at 3 a.m. Central to be able to find a group. I mean, I got into plenty of PvP, which is fine, with the exception of the Resolve problem.
Yeah.
And I did see, and I've heard comments from other people. I'm gonna throw this one out there. I get updates from the podcast listings on the SWTOR forum page for podcasts and stuff.
Right. And
one of the guys on there said, oh, well, I like Podcast X and because they still play the game. They don't bitch about the game. And I will argue that the only way you don't bitch about any game you play is if you don't play it.
Yeah, right. You're going to find something that annoys you.
I mean, either that or you're so fresh to video games that everything...
Knockback. Yeah.
I mean, and
I've got a list. I love the game. I've got a list.
Yeah, I mean, and I've got a ton of games that I like, and there's a list for every one of them. It's not because I'm an entitled gamer.
Right.
It's not because the games just have to be perfect for me, because I've played lots of games that are terrible and near perfect. And there are so many that eclipse Star Wars. There will never be enough space on a page for me to write down all the terrible games I've played.
Yeah.
But the big problem for me in PvP right now, fuck the knockbacks, don't care. Knockbacks are still effective when I remember to use them correctly. In your case, yours are channel casting. The same goes for my sword. So 9 times out of 10, I'm already facing the asshole who's beating the snot out of me, unless it's a marauder who still does circles around me, or an operative or the equivalent class is still doing circles around me. But the knockback I don't care about. On my 50, I wasn't having a lot of trouble with the resolve issue, which was what my biggest bone of contention was. Well, then I started having troubles on my 50. Now I go and I play on Hot Chocolate and I play on Zoe, and I'm noticing that and it's probably because I don't have any AoE heals yet that's really pissing me off, or maybe it's just the offset of gear. I'm not entirely sure, but their healing. I'm not getting as much healing done because I spend more time getting pummeled.
Yeah.
And I don't mean pummeled as in there's a marauder hitting pummel. I mean I'm getting fucking ass raped on a regular basis. No lube, lots of sand.
And you can't get a heal off because it's being pushed back, right?
Yeah, I mean if it's an instant heal, I can get it all. I can get it taken care of. Yeah. But outside of that, I'm not getting a lot of points for healing, which is hurting my overall Warzone points, which is frustrating. Yeah. The old resolve system wasn't perfect. I don't suspect at any point in any game PvP is ever perfect. That's why they constantly update and make changes. But in this case, I would go into the middle of the field, I'd be healing 2 different people, having a good old-fashioned time, getting some heals off, all excited. Then I would get stunned by a marauder. I'd get stunned by another guy. I'd get stunned by another guy. And I'd watch as the little white bar filled and my task, or my
health bar.
Not so much my health bar, but my keys, my bindings. Oh. I would watch all of them stay black.
Yep.
And I'd watch the resolve bar and it'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, dead.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, dead.
Yep.
1, 2, son of a bitch, can I heal?
Yep.
You know, and I'm not. It's not that it's terrible. I mean, when I'm on my DPS characters, I fucking love the fact that I can stun the shit out of somebody without ever worrying about it. And like I said, on my 50, not so much of an issue, which makes me wonder if it's because of the expertise that's in there, that the resolve responds a little differently, or if it's just because I've got such overwhelming stats on my healer that it doesn't seem as noticeable.
Yeah, I don't know. I did one PvP match with Zuzu. It was in my least favorite arena, and yeah, I mean, I'd walk in. Okay, granted, it was fresh 50. You know, on with well, okay. You know what? We won't even talk about that one because that now that I think about it, I can't really bitch too much. She's fresh 50. She has just the starter PvP gear set on, and it was in my least favorite arena. But I've noticed, yeah, and but even when it wasn't in Hutball, if I got attacked, if I didn't have 2 or 3 backups, at least 2. I was fucking dead in like 3 seconds. Just boom, 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 done. And I'm like, okay, this is no fun anymore. I mean, I understand dying, but at least give me a fucking opportunity to defend myself. No, fuck it. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of Resolve because we don't want to have fast marauders.
And in the realm of our QQ, as far as the resolve and the pushbacks go, if you guys disagree, please feel free to post on our page, comment on the Sith Talk on the Sith Talk pod site, on YouTube, wherever. You know, fuck, put it on Facebook. I don't give a shit. Yeah. Just let us know how you guys are responding to it. Because that's my biggest vote of contention right now. Now, I got some time on the PTS. It took 2.5 hours. The downloader froze twice, but I finally got done downloading that. I got to take a look at the cartel market. As of right now, I'm not going to say there's any pay-to-win items. No. There are some cool pets. The holographic Rancor is okay, not great. When we saw the video for it, it made it look as if it was going to be infinitely bigger than it was. Yeah. Apparently, they were using a Type 1 smuggler. They were using a Type 1 smuggler to make it look taller. Because I've got a Type 2 female character. It's a copy of Naga that's on the PTS. And I bought it on her, and it was about her size. I mean, it looks cool. It and it's shakes its arms and opens its mouth. Nothing major. There was another cum stain pet that was okay, but it was about the size of the pets we've gotten in game previously, and looks damn near the same. Yeah. So I don't know if it's a respray or if maybe I wasn't looking at it close enough to notice the difference. There is another new mount. Which is, it's one of the long spur style mounts with the little gun turret at the top, which is cool. Okay. There are a ton of gear items, and the prices. Yeah, well, no, these are it's augmentable gear, okay, and it's like level 30 to level 43-ish right now that I saw.
Oh, so it's augmentable, but it's not, doesn't have anything in it. It's empty.
Some of them have augments, some of them don't. There are complete sets that have stats, and then there are chest pieces that have no stats. And the stats are equivalent to what you would get if you had a purple drop around that area. So if you were level 31 and you wanted to spend, I believe it's about 1,400 cartel points, get some good shit. I played around with it for a little bit. There was one bug. I'm going to say it's a bug. I don't know if it is or not. When I went to go look at my bank, because I never remember what's on my PTS character's banks, I went to look at it, and it kept going, if you'd like to unlock all 80 slots for only 80 cartel points, click this button. And I'm like, no, just can I see my bank? Can I just see my fucking bank?
Can I just open my bank, please?
Big fucking billboard right over the whole fucking sign.
No way to close it out or nothing.
The only close button was the bank. Yeah. So, you couldn't hit, okay, well, turn that off. So I went in, I'm like, okay, maybe it's just a cartel tooltip. So I was looking for cartel tooltips, didn't find that. So then I go and I say, okay, well, maybe it's just, and let me go and look at this, and nope, not that. So eventually, of course, I've got 2,400 cartel points on there. I say, fuck it. I go ahead and buy it. And of course, now I've got every bank tab, or every bank slot on the first tab that I don't need, but hey, there's only 80 cartel points that don't even matter to my live character.
Just a way to get rid of your shit, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So I don't know if that was a bug, but that's
yeah,
one of the
let's
things
hope
that
it's a
did
bug
those.
because that'll piss a bunch of people off. No, I'm fine with the amount of bank slots I have. Well, nope, you've got to buy more. I don't want
Um,
to buy more, but you have to. Ha ha
yeah,
ha.
and one of the things I did happen to purchase, and it was what you and I talked about whether or not it would be behooving to buy through cartel points for certain legacy-based items, or if it would behoove you through in-game credit. And I've got something that's gonna piss off the Rocket Boot wearers. You guys paid $2 million. I paid 152 cartel points, which by my rough estimate is probably $2.
Yeah.
So that I could have the same cool rocket boots you do. So if we did the translation, that would mean $2 was worth 2 million in-game credits, which puts your shit at maybe a tenth of a cent, a hundredth of a cent.
If that's
So congratulations.
if that's the case, I want to find the credit sellers and tell them that because
Yeah.
I can drop about $50 and I'll be set.
Yeah.
If that was the going rate, that would be freaking amazing.
But I went on to the PTS. Now, I didn't go through the HK series. I'm going to work on putting together a video for that. I do need to get my my video editing programs back. So I got to talk to Kevin about getting the Sony Studios. Or hey, if someone has an extra key, an extra legit key for an Adobe program, I'll happily take that off your hands.
I'll give you my Avid.
Yeah, fuck that shit. If you can't figure out how to work it, I'm
It's
not
not that I
even
can't
gonna
figure out how to work it. It's just that it just doesn't want to work. I don't know. I don't understand. I mean, I can do, segues and stuff like that, but as soon as I put video up, it's.
But I went over and I did some of the Section X dailies. The area looks kind of cool. It's a little bit different overall design wise. I didn't get to play around too much. I was trying to figure out why the screen or the area looked so dark. But I did 3 out of the 4 dailies. I didn't get to do the heroics, which kind of made me mad. But I did choose a bad character to do it on because, well,
You've only got the one though, right?
I've got the 2.
Oh,
But the
see, I've only
problem
got
is
one. Well,
that
4 out of the one.
unlike my live characters, their gear hasn't been upgraded since
Right.
basically, they got transferred over. And I've tried to ask BioWare if I could get an updated copy of my characters, or if I could get a copy of Rakat because he's overgeared to shit. He would be a perfect choice to have on the PTS for me, as opposed to Naga, who I was trying to gear up for the live servers. But whatever. I'll just keep submitting tickets on that. But it was kind of cool. I mean, the area is a little bit different. It's set up more the way Black Hole is. So while there are a couple conversations to have, the majority of your dailies are picked up by talking to one of 2 mission boxes, and then you just go out and do. I think the new Section X questing zone is going to be a great boon for all the bioanalysis people who have nowhere to farm. Those of us who are into scavenging or slicing, we have a place to go and farm. There's always
Everywhere.
pretty much. Whereas the bioanalysis people really haven't.
Yeah,
This
Belsavis
area
was
is
pretty good, but
mobbed.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and this is another Belsavis point, so of course you're going to have a great.
Is it on Belsavis?
Yes, it's in a different section of Belsavis altogether. On the flip side, you don't have to drive around Belsavis to find the fucking place, because with the fast track portal, you just go right into the home station.
Yeah,
there.
but is it like Belsavis's dailies where they're in the entire
No.
map?
It looks to be fairly well contained within a quadrant or 2, as opposed to one quadrant here and one quadrant over on the other side of the
Right.
planet, or
Yeah. Then you get the one daily where it's like, go pick up this, and it's on the other side of the planet. Awesome.
And like I said, with the fast travel way we have to get the daily
that's
zone.
handy. Oh, that is so handy. I'm not. It's like I feel like a mage when I do that.
Yeah, I complained at first, but with the amount of time that's saved,
Dude,
and it's a
all
way
the
to get
stupid
around the load
cutscenes.
screens, right?
I was like, yeah. I still don't understand why they have this when you go to a planet, why it shows the ship flying towards the planet. I get it. I'm here. Let me off.
Well, why do I fly towards the planet when I actually land at an orbital station? Orbital means it's above the fucking planet.
Right. If I'm flying towards the planet, I want to land on the fucking planet. And I still don't understand why we can't land on a planet. There's some planets it's like, it's a planet. You'd think, it's not Dagobah. There's plenty of room to land. I mean, and even Skywalker landed on Dagobah, so give me a fucking break. Oh.
Then he had to learn how to lift just to move his fucking ship out of the mud puddle he parked in.
It's too heavy, I can't do it.
But the new dailies look pretty cool. I'm happy with them. Not too frustrating at all.
Cool.
As far as other things done in the game, pretty much did the augments. I did get to do a couple of hard modes. No raids this week. Hadn't run into any of my raid buddies, which was unfortunate. I did just about that. I look forward to getting back on the PTS tonight. I want to go through and finish the Section 8 dailies. I did want to let everybody know that once I get my a copy of the video editing software, either that Kevin had given me previously or another video editor that I can work with, then I'll be able to get some of the videos up that I'm pulling from the PTS, as well as the ones I'll be making. Once I have the video editing software I need, I'll be able to put up what I plan on doing is 2 of the 2 Planets of the Cubes per week. So in relevance, the starter zones.
Oh.
Do the 4, get the 4 starter zones out of the way, and then go to the 2 main planets and cycle them from there.
Yeah.
Because I have a 50 on either side, I can go through and do the easy peasies and not have to worry about running through it on a lobby and praying to God I survive. We'll need a little help from people in the neighborhood when I get to the ones that require 2 people. So,
no problem.
Lanyard and we may end up recording the Ventrilo for those because
that'd be fun.
your rants for super jumps are fucking hilarious. But that's it.
Yeah. Oh well. Okay. I got a couple of questions. One, first,
sure.
the first one I'll answer, and then on the PT, are you going to be going over what's coming up with the cartel coins, with in news?
In news, we do have some of the cartel coin information.
So you got the 1.5 info and the video and all that stuff?
I didn't find a full list, which was unfortunate.
They're not going to give it out.
Yeah, well, the fun thing is I've got a small list that small video that I'm going to watch myself so that I can kind of give everybody a rough estimate while I'm going through it.
Yeah, 'cause I know they released that video on what's coming up, and he had mentioned some things that might piss some people off that go to free-to-play.
Yeah.
So, and then we're going to go over that in the news, so that's cool. All right, then that's it. That's the only question I had.
All right, man. Well, let's go ahead and load up Pseudo first, and then we'll come back for the news.
Okay.
Hello everyone, this is Pseudo, your Galactic Librarian, continuing with Chapter 1. It wasn't her fault, she knew. The match had resulted from years of lobbying by Yulin, seeking to lock her family's future position. Only males became riders. The Kashari property descended maternally. Now, Adari and her mother had the UVAC and the wooden house, while their neighbors still lived in huts of lashed-together Hijabaro chutes. Yulin was thrilled, and Adari was content to let the children be Yulin's domain, too. Adari had done her duty. The Kashari had been advanced by another generation. Now she could concentrate on something important. If they'd let her. "I have to go back," she said, lifting her younger son from his work destroying the dinner table. The afternoon hearing had gone long, and an unprecedented evening session loomed. "I knew you'd do something like this," Yulin said, her gaze piercing her daughter's back. "I've always said all that digging around in the filth would do you no good, and arguing with the Najvar. Why do you always have to be right?" "I don't know, Mother, but it's something I'm going to have to live with," Adari said, handing off the dripping toddler. A smeary imprint remained on her tunic. No time for a change. Try to get Tona and Finn to actually sleep tonight. I'll be back. She opened the door carefully to find that the rain had driven off the crowd. Comfort triumphed belief on Kesh, but the rocks remained. Dozens of ironic little statements scattered all across the stoop. If the hearings lasted any longer, she wouldn't have to do any more field research for the season. Everything she needed would be on her doorstep. Perhaps she should offend the Skyborn every year. We were talking about the Flamestones, Adari reminded the chief of the Neshtavar. You were talking, Izuri Dash said. I accept no such term. The aged rider and high counselor hobbled around the edge of the circle, eternal, a plaza where a tall column served as a massive sundial. Adari looked around. Another gorgeous evening for a place that had no other kind. It was the same every day. Inland, a brief, determined afternoon rain followed by a cool breeze that blew straight through the night. But now half the village had foregone real entertainments to watch a bald, bloodless man harangue a young woman. There are no Flamestones, he said, gesturing to a pair of crimson rocks on a pedestal beside the central column. I see here only normal stones of Kesh, as you might find on any hillside. Adari coughed. You have something to say? I'd better not. Adari looked up from her seat in the sandy clearing and then around at the glaring listeners. What was the point? No one would listen. Why keep making it worse? She took another look at Izuri. This lavender wraith was the man who had eulogized Zari. What did he know about anything? What business did the Neshtavar have telling anyone what to think, just for convincing a few lazy animals to take them for riders now and again? Fine, she thought, rising. These'll be 2 fewer rocks they can throw. She took a stone from the pedestal. The scholars of Kesh have collected stones from every part of this continent. We record what we find. We compare. This rock came from the foot of the Cecil Spire on the southern coast. The crowd murmured. Everyone knew the smoking spire, rumbling and bubbling at the edge of civilization. Someone must have been crazy to go out there collecting rocks. Okay, everyone, tune in next week for the continuation of Chapter 1.
And he doesn't realize that I said we were back.
No, I didn't hear it because you didn't unmute your fucking microphone.
I did so. Ask the people. I said, and we're back.
Yeah. But that's another episode from Pseudo. As Lanyard trips balls over how big my cup of coffee was.
I was just showing you my big shot glass.
Oh yeah, I'm doing a 32-ounce coffee. This is the last of the pitcher, so got to finish it out. And I hope you guys enjoyed Pseudo's episode. We're going to flash into the news as I update myself on the prices on the new market.
Here's your galactic news. Look what you missed while you were sleeping.
All right. So this week in the news, the big thing, of course, is the fact that the galactic market jumped into our worlds, into our lives. No, not yet, but it's on its way, of course. So I logged into the PTS this week and wanted to see what it was, what was going on with the cartel market. First of all, I want to say thank you for introducing the cartel market or giving us a preview of it. But I have a few little ideas. Now, this is an MMORPG, right? Am I wrong?
Right.
We're still playing.
I think so.
Okay. I mean, we've had arguments or discussions over whether or not it's a real MMO.
Right.
But we know it's an RPG. So one of the things, and maybe people who have played other games can defer this thought for me. One of the things I thought was great about RPGs is when you went to when you had to buy stuff, no matter whether it was stuff that was based on real money market or it was in-game market, you always had a vendor to go talk to, or if you did an in-game purchase, you purchased it outside near the create a character screen, so it wasn't impeding your world.
You got a shopping cart button.
And now, granted, we are not necessarily in a RP server, so it's not bothering me personally. But it's the way they decided to roll this out that's kind of queer. There is a little cartel button next to your UI. Presumably, you'll be able to move it like the rest of your UI. So if you'd like to disable it, you can to keep it out of your sight. I would have thought it would be really cool if they had a vendor like Kiosk. They put one in for the security key guys. I thought it'd be cool if they had one for the cartel market. You know, wouldn't it be nice to see a couple of HUD or a couple of HUD cartel people just standing behind the counter? What do you want? You know,
like in the VIP lounge.
Right. Or, like I said, the security key vendors. But it would have been nice to see something like that. Well, nonetheless, there is a cartel or a credit symbol, at least right now on the PTS, located next to my UI bars for settings and everything. Now, some of the things that they put on there, they've got a featured tab. There's a newly added tab in case you've already been through some of the old shit. You want to see what the newest is. They've got gear packs or XP packs that you can buy. They've got cosmetics. They've got unlocks as far as things like unlocking more PvP in a week, more flashpoints in a week.
You mean more than 3 a week?
Right. As well as consumables, things like, fleet passes. There's equipment. So there's a lot of really cool shit that they added in here. Right on the feature page, of course, anyone who's been on the PTS will notice the real obvious thing is the Carbonite Chamber. The Carbonite Chamber is currently on the PTS, and probably as soon as it launches, because this is going to be the most extreme thing everybody wants to have, is currently 50% off at 720 credits. So at full price, it would be 1,440 credits.
Basically everything I have.
Pretty close, because at this point, when I logged in, and I don't know if it's just a general amount or if it's the amount that's going to be given to me based on my account status and how long I've been, or the fact that I've got a deluxe. But I had 2,400 credits logging in.
Yeah.
I bought the Rancor, which was like 200 or so credits. Wasn't anything else after. Wasn't too many other things after that I purchased.
$80 so you could use your bank.
Yeah, the $80 I put towards the bank because I couldn't figure out how to disable the damn fucking warning screen over the top of it. Now, a couple of things: you can go on a shopping spree and not open all your gifts at once. It keeps an unclaimed bar on there, so you can click the stuff that you haven't pulled out of your cart yet. There's a buy now button with a warning stating how much you're going to be spending. You can disable that through the tooltips, which is good, if you're a consummate user of in-game credits. Now. The other things on the front screen are chess piece, 150 credits. Bonus market usage, 1,200 credits. That means if you want to use the GTN, you get a total of 50 items you can put on a GTN at any given time. There's 5 charges to it. Each charge is worth 10 items. So you put 10 items, and that's gonna run you about 1,200 credits. So you're looking at about $15 to put 50 items on an in-game GTN. The other thing are like the Crime Lords pack. Now this is the funny thing: the Crime Lords pack, and I don't know if it's a bonus or not, but remember we all heard about that throne. We were supposed to be able to get the throne. We could. It's a mount.
You float around on it.
Yes.
And
I have to fucking admit, okay, I saw one dude riding on it, and it looks fucking awesome. You're floating on a crown, and it's a 110 speed mount, okay? So you're floating around the crown, like, This is going to beat the Corvette, dude.
Oh.
I want to spin. I will probably spin the in-game credit.
No. Hover chairs in sci-fi. Hover chairs are for the people that are disabled.
Okay, well then call me Professor fucking X because I am riding on this bitch. Okay, you just have no fucking clue.
Does it make a flush sound? If it makes a flush sound, I'll buy it.
But you know, it was really cool because it's part of the Crime Lord Cartel package, which is and it's a possible drop. Now this is including the Darth mask that we had saw in the videos. It has hollow characters. It also has another pet you can get. It's a chance drop. So for anybody who's played some of the other games, you will buy a mystery box, and it has an option of 4 or 5 different things dropping out of it.
Oh, so it's like when you put the quarters in the gumball machines in the bathrooms. You might not get the one you're looking for.
Well, if you're expecting bubblegum, putting it in the condom machine, Leonard, you're fucking up. But like 5 fleet passes, 90 credits. You want a 41 XP or 41 expertise orange yellow crystal. That's gonna run you about 900 credits.
I want a pink black.
No pink black. Did not see that. As I slowly try to advance through here, because I actually did. The cartel crime, the Crime Lord Cartel pack gives you 2. It says 2 rare bonus items with a chance for a super rare. Chances of the super rare bonus item are greater than from a black market cartel box. So I'm assuming that the super rare is the mount itself. But there's a goofy little pet. I don't know what the creatures are called. You're a little bit bigger on Star Wars than I am. The big Muppet that basically sat with Jabba.
Oh, the little.
Yeah.
I love that fucker. I don't know what he's
Okay,
called.
so that guy's actually a pet.
Awesome. I want that.
So that's
I hope
in
he
there.
makes that terrible, annoying sound too.
I'm trying to scoot along my video slowly here. There's the major XP bonus, the Ivory Mouse Horanth. It looks like a retarded dog. There was, as far as gear sets we were talking about, there's the Destroyer armor set. The Destroyer armor set is going to be like your head, chest, legs, and hands. The 5 major slots. So head, chest, legs, boots, and hands.
Okay.
So you know, and those are. I think that was requiring level 31. So it's not top end, but it looks really cool. So you might think about buying it and then trading your mods out for it. It can be worn by any armor class, which is the important thing. Any piece of gear on here can be done by and worn by any armor class. Doesn't matter. It will adjust, which is the cool thing.
So it's like social gear.
Right. And now there's also the authorizing artifact equipment, so the ability to be able to wear purples, which is what or orange gear. You actually can buy, and this applies to story or PvP equipment, which is the orange gear. You basically have to buy the authorization to wear it. The price per character is 1,200 credits, and then the price is then truncated if you want to do it across your account. But the option's there if you choose to.
Well, when I went and looked on the website, because they gave you a link to go to the website where you pull up your account on SWTOR, and you could actually see how much you are going to be getting when it drops. I had 15.5, 15.50, 15. Well, basically, I don't have the super duper pack like you guys do. I had the next one down, plus of course every month, which is really weird because it was like 150, 150, 150 for the month subscription, and then the last 2 months it went 250, 250, which I didn't understand that, and then I got the extra. So basically, it's 1,550, right?
Well, maybe after they started losing people left and right, they were like, you know what, we'll give these guys more coins. These guys have been really loyal.
So basically, I don't even have enough to get like. Well, what was that pack?
Well, you do have a lot. You do have enough. I mean,
that's what I was looking at.
The Crime Lord pack was 325.
Yeah, but if the Crime Lord pack is a chance to get something cool,
but you get 2 items each drop.
So I have to keep buying it until I get to what I want. Kind of like I said, in the coin machine, you got to keep turning it until you get all 5 packets. Now,
there's the other things as far as the chess pieces I was telling you about. There's the Honored Saberist, Adepts, MedTech. Responders, and Overwatch. if I remember correctly, these were like level 43 items, and these are at 325. Now, I tried modeling them because, it's new gear. I want to see what it looks like. Unfortunately, the modeling system, not all that good right now. It looks very choppy in comparison to how we preview gear on our characters right now. Once again, that's a touch-up in the later process thing. It's the PTS, and nothing's finalized. Now, we were talking about the armor sets. These required a minimum of level 31. They're about 1,200 apiece. You've got an Investigator, Destroyer, Gorilla.
Wait, you get to wear a gorilla suit?
No, it's a Merc style set, or Bounty Hunter set. Then there's the Outlaw set, which looks really like you were driving a speeder. There's the Noble Commander set, which is a caster set, and then the Pathfinder set as well. All around 1,200 credits. They looked pretty cool. Some of them gray-black. Some of them with additional colors. The headpiece on the Noble set looks like shit. It looks. You remember Tidhead from Little Nicky?
Never watched
You
that
don't?
movie.
Okay. Well, anybody who's seen Little Nicky, one of the characters is called Tidhead. He puts a set of the devil. He pisses off the devil by letting Nicky's brothers out, and he puts a set of tits on his head. And then he wears a bra. Looks like Tidhead.
Okay.
Go watch Little Nicky after this. You'll understand.
I can't stand Adam Sandler.
Oh, you fuck.
I'd rather poke myself in the eyes than watch that shit.
Now, some of the other things, there was one that was interesting. Now, if you can use a tech staff or a saber, there's the Grimorian axe.
Who can? There's like one class that can use a tech staff.
Well,
And it's
nonetheless,
anyways, yeah, okay.
but nonetheless, the axe is in there. It doesn't have any real cool effects to it, but it's obvious that they're working on the modeling or being able to preview models for the weapons themselves.
Oh, that
got
would be
to see
so nice.
Got to see Naga actually holding and wielding the axe. She did a couple of little, axe handle twists with it. So that was definitely cool.
That would be so nice.
Beyond spinning or left to right, you're also able to move the characters in the preview window, all the way around the preview window, so you can get a better view of the items overall.
A la Blizzard.
Yeah, and there were some really cool shits. My favorite chess pieces, they were very reminiscent of some of the drops you would get in Battle for Ilum, which were some of the nicer shoulder pads that weren't just ugly, cumbersome or weird looking. The Overlord,
Yeah.
The Overlord and Taskmaster sets were really nice. Purple, black, gray, red, silver. They looked really nice. A lot of these are coming with, a lot of the ones that are Force related are coming with capes, which I think really Force users probably should have capes more than anything else. Some of the other things, major XP boosts. Now, the interesting thing is the XP boosts come either 1 for 120, so about $2, or you get a 5-pack. Now, the important thing to think about this one is the XP boost is only good for 3 hours and doesn't stack. So if you've...
One flashpoint.
Yeah. So, especially if it's a bad one. But, the XP boost is for 3 hours. Now, the other thing is if you've already went and bought in your legacy system the XP bump for that...
Doesn't stack.
Doesn't stack. So you're shit out
Don't
of
waste
luck.
your money on it.
You heard it here first, kids. The other thing is most people may or may not have read yet. When you're a free-to-player, you get 5 medical probes, period, a week. So if you're going through an area like Pseudo and you like to do, and you're trying to level in at the lowest, get to the very end of the storyline at the lowest possible level,
Right.
and you're dying and dying and dying, that first death, you can rest. The second death, you can rest. That third death, you can rest. But once you've worn out 5 probes,
You have to go back to the medical guy.
med bay every time. So now to get additional med probes, of course, it's
You can pay for
500
it.
credits. Yeah, it's 500 credits.
Oh man, they've really made it so. Oh yeah, you can do free to play, but you're not gonna like it. You can do 3 PvPs a week. You can do 1 flashpoint. You can do
Well, I'll cover that list in whole, but just so that everyone knows, the major experience boost, it says increases experience gain from all sources by 25% for 3 hours. This boost will not stack with other experience consumables. And of course, they're
Wait. I'm sorry. You said it wouldn't stack with other XP consumables. The Legacy is not a consumable.
It is, because you can't. Well, you have to buy it.
But it's not consumable.
I'm not sorry.
It doesn't burn out. It's there. It's permanent.
It's purchasable. Well, we'll see. Like I said, this is on the PTS, so
Okay.
the rules can change. Because at one point, I could have swore the free-to-play feature said that you got 5 war zones and 5 flashpoints, and it currently says 3.
Yeah.
So
they changed that. In fact, it was 5, but then when this little video came out, the guy talking said, nope, 3. And you can only. Well, you're getting to that.
yeah. Now, and of course, we talked about the weekly passes. How much will it cost so that you can do unlimited PvP for a week? Well, it's going to cost you $240 store credits. So we're guessing right around the $3 to $4 marker. So if you PvP every week, nonstop, or just PvP every week, period, and want to PvP every week each month, it'll cost you about $12 on a 4-week month, which means it puts you $3 behind the rest of us who've been paying for the game.
Right. And get all the other perks of paying for the game.
And then, of course, there's things like being able to change your crew member appearance, 325. The 10 slots, like I was telling you, 10 GTN sales, that's going to cost you $125. Access to a guild bank, 600 credits. You want to use event equipment, so let's say you had Rat Ghoul gear, you get in on the newest seasonal questing zone. You want to wear that gear? That'll cost you $175. You want access to Section X, where the rest of us are doing dailies because we've been paying for the game? 600 credits, and you already have to have done the HK51 quest line.
Oh.
So while the rest of us can just shoot in there because we're paying for the game, you have to do the HK51 quest line, then
Plus
you
pay.
can go to Section X.
And pay.
Yes.
So Kevin,
And at 600 credits, that's a fair amount.
you liking this
Kevin,
free to play so far?
Kevin hates dailies anyway, so
Well,
I think he's scared.
I don't blame him. That's because he was stuck with Bill Savas as our only daily.
Yeah, for the longest time until they gave us Black Hole. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I highlighted in my video. But yeah, it's crazy. Oh yeah, the Long Spore Sportster, 720 credits. It says, now this is the fun thing, the Long Spore Sportster. I'm trying to see if I have it in this video. Back up. Where's it at? Come on, tell me I highlighted it a little bit. Oh God, tell me I highlighted it. No, I didn't. Okay.
It's the same. It's the same ones as we have, just a different color, right?
It is, but there was a special note on it. The long spurs has the special pink, gray, and silver, pink, gray, and white layout. Now it doesn't look anything like the pink, gray, and white it says, but that's what the colors are. But as far as the lottery,
I've only seen one pink speeder, and I've asked them where they got it, and they won't tell me.
It looks like a metallic pink over the top of the long spur, where maybe guns would be saddled, and then the remainder of it is accented in white and silver. But the pink, gray, and white thing is kind of weird.
But the important thing is, do you get a rainbow sticker on the back? Because that would be perfect.
No, you get a Keep Portland Weird sticker on the ass end of it, actually.
Are you sure? Are you sure it's
the fans.
It's not a Prius?
Well, I didn't see a gas tank. So
well, it might be. No flames coming out of the back. Just
now, one of the things.
Electrical ball of
one
lightning.
of the things that me and Lanyard had talked about previously was, when it comes down to our legacy, is our legacy really all that necessitated that we paid for it in game? And it's not. Now, I didn't get a value on all of these because I wasn't going to waste all of my in-game credits right away. But everything on Legacy you can purchase with the cartel coins. Some things have special requirements, but then you can still use the cartel coins. But a lot of it, it's either credits or cartel points. And the price differential is enormous. We were talking earlier, I always wondered what it would be like to have the rocket skates, or the rocket boost, as it's called in the Legacy system. So at 2 million credits, or roughly the equivalent of 3 days worth of dailies, or a really good week on Auction House for some people. Other people, I've seen lots of people with it, so inevitably people are stacking credits. I tend to pay to up crew skills, or drop mods in my gear, shit like that. I don't,
I just
do
pay for repair bills.
Yeah.
Keeps
So
me under,
it,
under 3K.
but if I have to choose between $2 on the cartel or 2 million based on time wasted,
Where's my credit card?
I'm gonna I'm paying for the game. I'm gonna be paying twice for it now.
Yeah. They got
But,
you. They got you.
Oh, by the balls, buddy! All right, so now as far as our little free-to-play versus pay-to-play options, of course, pay-to-players, we get everything as we always have.
Yeah.
Free-to-players, you get unlimited storyline. That's pretty much that's it. You get from 1 to 50 all the storyline you can enjoy. That's where you get full access. That's the only place you get full access without paying additionally. As far as your created characters, you're limited. You're going to get about half as many slots.
Half.
People, roughly half. I think it's, well, is it 3?
I think it's only 3.
Well, no, I'm talking about slots as far as how many characters you can make. The character creation, and they didn't, and I want to make sure, because we got into the discussion with Joe, which we'll be putting on after the news. We got into the discussion with Joe about, well, they said it was human, it was cyborg, and it was Zabrak.
Right.
But they didn't state whether it was Sith side Zabrak or if it was Republic side Zabrak. But they also didn't state whether or not this was across Republic or Imperial. So right now, as far as the videos have showed us, there's only 3 playable races.
But those 3 are on both sides, though. Humans on both
Right.
sides, Zabraks
With
on both
color
sides,
variants.
Zabraks on both sides, and Cyborg is on both sides. It's the only 3. Well, I guess I could tweet but those are the 3 that are on both sides, so you can play either side.
Right. And as far as I've seen on the cartel, there is no unlocks. It's not like you can pay to unlock the races in the Legacy or in the cartel.
Good.
So if you're free to play, enjoy the 3 races you don't have.
Right.
Or I should say all of the races you don't have.
I guess
Not that it's bad. I mean, I have Cyborg. One of my Juggernauts has been a Cyborg, and the Cyborg creation options are nice. The Zabrak creations are nice. I still don't quite understand justifying a human, but whatever.
Hey, Lanny's a human.
Yeah, well, Lanny looks like a worn out.
Big, beefy motherfucker. No, you're talking Landry. Landry's the one that's a skinny old man that can kick your ass if I can remember how to play him.
Now, as far as operations, you'll have to buy a weekly pass off the cartel if you want to be able to do operations in general. In war zones, 3 of those a week, unless you pay the aforementioned 500 credits to be able to get unlimited war zones for a week. As far as flashpoints go, you get the full rewards, but you only get 3 of them. Now, you'll have to pay once again to be able to run unlimited flashpoints, presumably once again probably around that $5 marker, and I'm saying $5 in real cash. Space missions, once again, whopping 3. But
oh no!
I'm sure that will be a detriment to all because we all love our space missions.
I keep forgetting they even have those.
Yeah. Now, as far as the cargo hold, now the free-to-players, you will only be able to expand your cargo holds, and in some cases even use most of the slots, if you use cartel points. So if you're just getting into the game, buy yourself a cartel card because you won't have a bank. Your inventory slots, once again, limit it to the basery 3 bars that you have when you first start your character without cartel coins. As far as your crew skills, you get 1. But hey, on the flip side, you can pay for more. As far as your quick travel options, you get no emergency fleet pass. Now, this doesn't sound like a horrible thing in your life until you get to the point like we are, where we're done doing dailies, we've done our flashpoint dailies, we're on our last planet, and it's either 2 cutscenes or a load screen to get to the fleet. and then you buy that. Now, of course, you can buy 5 a week. Five of them from the vendor, because I don't remember. I didn't read the tooltip on that. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that you only got to buy 5 a week unless you're a pay-to-play member, in which case you can buy the fleet passes all you want. So that you can, and it doesn't share a cooldown with your original fleet pass. Now, as far as death, you will consistently revive at the nearest med station. You get 5 infield. You get to revive 5 infield times. Period. A week. As far as your login, now obviously the game's kind of we're back and forth on population, but with the advent of free to play, there is the expectation of a server queuing issue. You have no priority, whereas I get in anytime I want. And then of course the equipment, item equipping. You cannot, a free-to-play player will not be able to equip most purple items unless, this goes into one of the licenses I talked about a minute ago, unless you buy a license off the cartel.
For.
Right. So, I mean, it's not bad. What I was thinking about doing is I want to see how much of that restricted week I can do in a single gaming period, and then decide whether or not I can resist not playing
You're
that.
going to hate it. You know what's going to suck, though?
The fact that I'll be forcing myself to do space missions?
Right. Oh, man, I can only do 2 a week. What's going to suck is all the people that go, oh, I'm going free-to-play. Fuck it, I'm going to go to free-to-play. That's gonna really kill our queue times for, flashpoints and PvP.
Well, it will and it won't. Now, remember, if there are people in the game, and a lot of what I've gotten from our server community is, the around 500 or 600 people I see on at any given time, and like we've talked before, my play time is way different than yours.
Yeah.
I'm playing either butt fucking early in the morning or at the very tail end of an evening. On Saturday, I normally spend all day. On Tuesday, I spend damn near all day. So the majority of the time I'm on, a lot of the people are, their biggest fear is the free-to-players. Like, these guys aren't talking about, oh, when it comes out, man, I'm going free-to-play, fuck this game. I'm not paying $15 a month. Every one of them saying, hey, I'm in it to win it. Yeah. I'm in it for the long haul. So my biggest fear isn't there's no issue with that. I think that we'll see that. My big problem is for the people who get free-to-play, if you're one of the guys who said, I'm going to take it on the sideline, I can't afford it, or I don't want to justify the price right now, I don't know that you're going to get enough out of it. I mean, you're still to be able to do everything you had as a pay-to-play member, you'll be spending close to $10 a week anyway.
Yep. And
while I don't mind you paying that much, if you could, and microtransactions do have a way of sneaking up on us. I played many microtransaction-based games, and it wasn't until after I've done the math that I was absolutely dumbfounded by how much I paid for it. Right. I invested somewhere near $1,000 when I was unemployed on a game that was free to play, but it had all these awesome guns I could get.
Right.
So I kept buying the fucking guns. And then when I went back and I looked at my account and seen how much I had done between sending it to my cell phone bill or sending it to my credit card, it stacks and very quickly. Yeah. So if you're one of those people who says, well, I can't justify a $15 upfront fee for the majority of the game monthly, then fine. However, if you are looking forward to free to play and you can justify the expenditure, well, I'll just skip a pack of smokes, or if you're a kid, I'm just not going to buy fucking $5. What today? $5 is a candy bar, right? Yeah, so right. I'll skip out on candy bars.
Energy drink.
Right. So if you can justify it more aptly, then that's fine. I just warn you that it will creep up.
Go answer your door, man.
That's my dog scratching. Leave him alone. He's a good dog. He's just dumb as shit.
It's like someone was just banging on your door.
But some of the items, if you're literally to the point that you've got so much work and so much shit going on with your friends and family that you only have a day a week to get on, then yeah, you can cram 3 daily. You can cram in a planet's worth of questing in a day. If you do all the quests, then of course you're going to be able to. You won't have to worry about running into the issue of constantly dying unless you're constantly getting ganked. That's one thing that I think will be interesting. how many free-to-players are going to be complaining that they only get the 5 battle reses
And they're
or
going to
5
be constantly
field
getting
reses?
ganked.
You know,
And you'll know these people because they'll be walking.
Yeah.
Because you have to pay to buy Sprint.
Oh.
Which, by the
But,
way, I think that is one of the things that you have to do. You
God,
have to pay
that
to
would.
get Sprint.
I would hope it would just be for the speeder. God, paying for Sprint just sounds like that's just evil.
It's cruel.
That is just straight out of the Sith
You want to
Lord's
run?
den.
You gotta walk. You gotta pay for it. If you want to sprint, you're gonna pay for it.
Yeah, you gotta walk before you can run. No, you gotta pay before you can run now.
You want to get
all that-
you want to get off Korriban? You're gonna have to pay.
But I'm gonna get onto the PTS after we're done with the show, and
Okay.
I'll buy a few of those Crime Lord tickets just to see if I can get that chair. If so, I'll ride around in that chair.
I would, but I don't want to take the 3.5 hours to download the 15 gigs of PTS.
I thought, did you have the PTS originally downloaded?
I do, but I don't have the update. I don't have the 1.5.
Okay, well the update shouldn't be that big a deal. I literally downloaded the whole fucking thing.
Oh, that's right, because you didn't have any of it.
Yeah. But you know,
Maybe
give
I'll
it a
download.
shot.
I'll download it tonight when I go to bed. I'll just click on
There
it
you
and
go.
go download, and then I'll go to bed.
But I'd like to see if that mount goes. Now, a couple of cool things for people on the PTS or people thinking about getting on the PTS. The current rumor is that every day they're going to actually update and refresh the amount of cartel coins you have so that you can actually get to the point that you can buy everything and test everything that's going to be in the cartel so that you can report on the bugs. That's a good idea. Any coin spent on the cartel on the PTS is not in reflection of anything you will have to own on your primary account. It will not take away from any of the credits that you get on your primary account. Period. So everything you spend it's free money. It's food stamps at the grocery store. It doesn't even fucking matter.
It's the reason
eat
why
all
they
you
have a
want.
PTS, so you can go in there and test shit out.
Let's see. Now, I did run across a little article on SWTOR strategies this week, which was kind of cool. We had talked about games they could possibly implement in the world of Star Wars in-game to kind of keep us amused when we're bored in queue. There is a Pazak app currently available for the Android mobile, and it looks kind of cool. I don't have an Android. I think you do. You could check it out if you wanted to.
I'll have to get rid of some apps on my crappy little phone.
Until it comes to iTunes, I don't touch it. Let's see. Yesterday, Ronaldo. Okay. Apparently, you can play it from your desktop browser as well.
Nice.
Interesting. As I go to launch that, but the cartel looks really awesome. I'm really excited about it. I want to see what it ends up. What else they end up putting in, if they end up putting anything else in. But right now, man, I really like the way the cartel's coming across. I'm not 100% on the restrictions for free to play. As a pay to play person with somewhat of a bone of contention that the game has gone this way, I kind of feel vindicated that they're doing this. They've broken out free to play the way they have. My big concern though is I worry that they're going to overdo the restrictions because I mean you get 3 of each of the major zones and then you're done. But we will see. I will look forward to testing out Section X a little bit more. I'm going to probably record some more of the video for that. I will go through and do an audio piece for the cartel coins that I will try to render down, assuming I can get with Kevin. For the Sony Studios program, and that about that, I think that kills the news. I think that's everything I have this week. Oh, that's right. Fuck, I almost forgot. So we're supposed to announce the guy who won this big deal time card.
Oh, yes.
'Cause everybody plays this game called SWTOR. Well, I did the Wheel of Fortune. I found our winner. And it is Chris Nicole on Facebook. Chris Nicole it's Chris Nicole. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. It looks like it's French Canadian. I hope I don't piss the guy off. He's in Canada. But I went through, and that was one of the people I found. Chris, I'll be contacting you on Wednesday. If Chris does not respond, disregard this note. I'll update you on who actually takes it on the next podcast. But Thursday is when I'll be throwing that out there. Now we did forget something, Lanyard. We did it the whole week, and you know a lot of our fans say the one thing they look forward to is the guild name of the week.
Oh, yeah, we
So-
did it. We did our.
so-
Did you do your losers?
I didn't have any losers.
I just had the one. By the way,
Yeah.
his name is Paper Moon on
Paper
the
Moon.
Party of the Five. Don't go there. Don't just type in your ignore list. Paper Moon. One word. Ignore him.
Unless you like speed running everything, in which case go.
No,
for it.
just to let no. Don't even bother him. He's just a jerk.
He's a douche.
He's a douche.
But, you know, we have two that kind of coincide. We got one on the imps and one on the pub side. We've got Huts Don't Have Feet on the Imperial side, and their apparent sister guild, possibly, is We Kick the Hut Ball on the pub side.
Nice.
So we'll go ahead and throw those two out there to everybody. I hope you like those names. Now, we do have our fantastic boy Joe, who was nice enough to supply us with a fantastic episode this week. Least we not forget our buddy Lanyard. Let's go ahead and break into JoJo
Alrighty.
with Brutus, the Lore Master.
Hello, and this is Brutus, your loremonger, with the continuation of the history on the Mandalorian Wars. Now, this week I am not going to do a battle. It is more of a massacre. But this massacre does set up the stage for the Battle of Taris, which will be coming up further along in the war. And that is one of the more crucial ones, too. But with the Padawan Massacre of Taris, the Jedi Covenant, which was a secret organization established inside of the Jedi Order, I believe I stated them several weeks ago during the Rakul history, but what the Jedi Covenant was supposed to do was stop rises of Sith empires. And they were established after the events of Exar Kun because they did not foresee Exar Kun going dark side and rising up against the Republic. Now, the Jedi Covenant's existence was basically in vain because of two reasons. One, out in the unknown regions, you had the Sith Empire already established and rising up again, and you had the Lost Tribe of the Sith, which the pseudo is talking about. They were also in existence at the same time. But they weren't expanding like the old Sith Empire, but they were still around. So basically their whole existence was in vain. Haha to them. But they were established for many years. During the Mandalorian Wars, all of them were Jedi Consulars except for one. Now they did have their own Padawans, and they were basically training their Padawans to become them at some point too. The problem was, right around the time the Mandalorians were starting to invade the Republic, they foresaw the Mandalorian, each of them individually saw Mandalorians invading the Taris, the destruction of the Jedi Temple in Taris, and they foresaw their own individual deaths or that of a loved one. The problem was, each of them at the same time saw a Jedi or a Sith. They weren't sure. They just saw a figure in red holding a red lightsaber. They all attributed that to a Sith Lord rising again, and at the time all of their Padawans were wearing red spacesuits. Now some masters jumped to the conclusion that they should murder their students because they resembled closely to their vision. Others had more sense and wanted to wait and find out more information. But everyone was arguing all the time, so they decided to contact their founder, which was one of the master's mothers. The master's name was Dra. I'm terrible with names, as you know this, but his mother was Kindra. She founded it, and he foresaw that his mother's death as a result of this possible Sith rising. So he basically lied and said, "We're gonna murder all these Padawans just to ease the minds of the rest of the masters, so he did not have to foresee his mother's death." One of the Padawans was tainted by the dark side, so the masters devised a plan to kill all of them at their knighting ceremony and pin the murders on that one dark-sided Padawan. Now, one of the Padawans was being a little lazy, and he decided to be late to his knighting ceremony, which actually pretty much saved his life, because as he arrived there, he was ready to be all knighted and stuff. He saw all of the masters over all the dead Padawans with their lightsabers already drawn. So he put two and together that they just all murdered him. He had no idea why, but he ran for his life, and the Masters did try and chase him down and try to kill him. So he did manage to escape from the Masters, who at that time pinned the murders on that Padawan. Now the Padawan's name was Zane Carrick, and I did mention him during the Rackles section also. But he spent a good portion of his life trying to prove his innocence. But it was after the events of the massacre, the word spread that the Masters did kill all of their Padawans, spread throughout all of Terrace, and then the popular support for the Jedi started to wane down. And so then it started to get out to being all-out riots where the Jedi Council on Coruscant did pull them off, but they were completely in the dark as the rest of the whole populace, also whole galaxy, I should say, at that point, and they sent off on their own investigation to try and figure out what happened. Also, although they were trying to figure out if Carrick actually did commit the murders or if it was just a setup. Nobody knew at the time. Carrick tried to find evidence. He eventually did. I will explain more on Carrick's life in a future episode. But with the massacre and the riots going on, it did set the stage perfectly for the Mandalorians to come in and invade, and which I'll talk about in a future episode. And with that is the Padawan Massacre of Terrace. So tune in next week for the Battle of Onderon, and at the same time, the Battle of Duxon.
All right, you'll have to forgive me. I got a little wrapped up. I actually found the link for the Pazaak game and was actually playing it while we were in break.
You missed it. You learned. We get in this week's episode. We learned the values of being lazy.
I'm a gamer. I know the values of being lazy. But the Pazaak game, now, you might want to read the rules, because I couldn't win a fucking hand. But they have several versions to download. There was the starter version that was 1.8.3. And you can play it online or download the game to your computer if you like, whichever you want to do. There is an offline mode, or you can register, whichever is your preference. Because I bit one back and you let one loose.
I leaned over. I had to. Yeah.
And just to let you know, Lanyard, we actually went back up. We had bottomed out at about 180 likes on Facebook.
Yeah.
We've earned 4 more.
Hey.
So I'm glad to see that some people stuck around. I'm glad to see that new people are showing up.
Cool.
As this is one of the major giveaways that we've talked about since launch.
How do you spell Pazaak?
Pazaak. It's on Facebook. It's Pazaak. It's at pazaak.org/play.
I'm trying to see if they got one on the droid. Yep, here we go.
Yeah. So you can actually play Pazaak when you get bored. Read. I definitely encourage you reading the instructions, because that shit was. In all honesty, it was like playing Othello without ever knowing what the fuck Othello was. I was completely confused.
It's Othello.
But guys, we've got a lot of game to play, a lot of videos to shoot. We want to thank you, as always, for your fantastic support, and we look forward to bringing you guys more and more content, and more importantly, more and more giveaways. So feel free to stop over at any of our sponsors over on the Podomatic.com site, the Podomatic.com, or is it SithTalk.podomatic.com, and check out some of the sponsors we have on there. Now, right now I have Wild Tangent for those of you who look for doing something on the second screen while you're waiting for your queue to pop on SWTOR. You can check out some games there, buy some in-store credits on that game. If you're wanting to break in on the microtransaction world, you can get some games that way. And of course, we've got my favorite sponsor, and by and large, the one I take the most usage of, which is audibletrial.com/SithTalk. Always a great chance at some amazing books. They currently have the Spooktober festivities going on, so you get a lot of great horror-based books. If you're looking for a nice, scary or freaky sci-fi book, as always, I throw out Infected and Contagious by Scott Siegler. By and large, my favorite writer. And because he did the read on his audiobooks, it makes it that much more endearing to me. No slight to Mark Tufo, great zombie book if you guys are looking for a real interesting set of twists on the traditional zombie story. Mark Tufo's books are definitely well into their own rights. But you know what, guys? I've got PTS to play, and my dude, there's Pazak. He's already got it on his phone.
Yep,
Did you win a hand?
I haven't played yet. I just skipped through so I could get to it. But there it is.
Yeah. And I'll be playing Pazak on my second screen while I play Star Wars on my main screen. And we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Sorry for the delay, but we're going to hope to bring these out to you every Tuesday here forward, as long as Lanyard's good with that. That way, you know, we can do it on somewhat of a day type of shift, and he can still get some sleep. But
yeah,
until
Tuesdays
next
work
time,
for me, man.
And I don't work, so they work great for me.
Yeah, Tuesdays work for me.
Well, I don't work right now. But I don't work on Tuesdays, that is.
You don't work when you're at work.
I've got bruises that would tell you otherwise. But until next time, see you in the pit.
Where's my outro?
Thank you again for joining us here on Sith Talk. Lanyard and Dedekar look forward to talking with you next week. Remember to follow us on Twitter at Sith Talk, or stop by our Facebook page at facebook.com/Sith Talk. And of course, our Gmail is sithtalk@gmail.com. This music brought to you by freeplay.com. And remember, peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion I gain strength. Through strength I gain power. Through power I gain victory. Through victory my chains are broken. The Force shall free me.